All right, all right, all right. You know, how cool is it that we get to carry guns? We basically have a tool that fixes any problem. Check it out. Math homework. No sweat. I'm gonna get my gun. Roof sprung a leak. No problem. Let me get my blaster. Boss emailed and said, Mister, I'm gonna need that report on my desk by 8 a.m. tomorrow or else you're fired. Not a problem. Get my gun. Birthday coming up. Gotta bake a cake. Let me get my blaster. Of course, I'm being a smart aleck. But why is it that so often we've got this tool that's meant for this very narrow task, and we think about it as a catch-all? Any kind of bad thing that goes on, I got this thing on my hip, I'm gonna be all right. Some of you might say that's not true. All right, well, let's talk through it. How many of us practice our words, using our words in a meaningful way? Let's talk about that a little bit. Had a guy the other day, I went to a garbage dump to throw some stuff out. I'd never been there. Almost everybody there is commercial truck drivers hauling dumpsters and like garbage trucks. And they send pickup trucks to the same spot as all the commercial trucks. Well, these guys have like a whole like culture and communication because every day they're in and out of there. I've never been there. I don't know. Apparently I did something bad and I drove where I shouldn't. I'm following the rules, but I went in front of a truck that was like doing some stuff to their tarp. Apparently I was supposed to wait my turn. Anyway, dude gives me the bird, just rips the bird at me. And, you know, I just like smiled and waved. And I thought, okay, I get it. This guy's driving around all day, getting paid by the hour. The longer he's at that yard, the less money he makes. I violated the garbage truck code. I didn't know. And I had a choice in the moment. Give him the bird back, smile and wave, say F you, pull up and say, you know, you got a problem, drive away, you know, all points in between. Of course, I just smiled and drove away. Did a part of me want to drive over there and go, what's your problem, pal? You know, you pointing one finger up in the air somehow wronged me, and now I need to right the imbalance you created in the universe. How stupid is that, right? When I have a firearm on me, it instantly makes me more aware of any interaction I have, this thing's present. Doesn't mean I could use it. I mean, what if somebody knocks me out and takes it away from me? What if multiple people jump me? What if I get in a little hands-on scrap and it gets exposed and now somebody thinks gun and what was maybe a lower level problem now becomes a higher level problem? My point is, I want to stay away from all that crap if possible. So are we practicing not just how we speak, but controlling ourselves when maybe something heightens our emotions or our anger? And it's something I have to work on all the time, right? Every opportunity, that dude flicking me off the other day was an opportunity for me to say good choice, bad choice, right? So food for thought there. Are we using those individual points that happen every day in traffic, at work, whatever? Are we using them as a tool to help us grow? Because why are we doing any of this? Why are you watching this YouTube channel? Probably because you want to win in violence, right? Should some evil thing happen to you, you want to win. You want to go home. You want to be with your family. You want to be at next Christmas, so on and so forth. So what things are going to stop me from going hands-on or needing to draw my gun? Well, if I can limit that crap right out of the gate by zipping my lip, smiling and waving, cool, cool. Does the 22-year-old ego maniac inside my head say something back, man? Do it. Of course. All of us men especially have that. Women too. Let's work to suppress that. So that's issue one, or thought one. How about thought two? Am I fit and capable if words don't work or if me just walking away doesn't work? Can I go hands-on? You know, the thought process there is there's never enough and there's always somebody better. I've got training partners that can destroy 2 or 3 of me on a bad day for them and on a great day for me, right? So there's always somebody better. But understanding some basic fighting, understanding people's body language as they start to blade off and posture into a fighting stance. Do you recognize that? And this isn't show up to some like bullshit martial art class a couple times. This is you have to expose yourself over and over to physical violence in a controlled environment so that you understand what people's bodies are doing and what yours is going to do and what you're capable of as you're grappling and hooking and getting punched and bounced around with somebody. That's a big ask. But I think if you're serious about this stuff, there's really no excuse. Not time, not money, physical health. And I know people in their 80s that are training. It's just you're going to train in a different way for what's good or right for you. How about this? How about pepper spray? How about pepper spray? I'm going to do a video on the pepper spray that's in my hand and why. I've done a couple videos on this. This is palm, but why there's a shoelace tied to it. How about pepper spray? My buddy Chuck Haggard's kind of like the pepper spray guy. He's a copper from Kansas. He says pepper spray is for that space between a harsh word and lethal force. You know, it's somewhere in there where it's about the same level of force as striking somebody under the context of law. So if you're going to spray somebody with pepper spray, it'd be analogous, legally speaking, to hitting them, right? Pushing them without having to do that. Well, pepper spray doesn't work. Says who? There's tons of data on it. And what's my goal? Is it to spray them and then go, ha, 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 look at you? Or is it to break contact and get away? So if your goal is to just go home, this may be a great tool. This may be the thing that stops you from having to get physical. Hell, I mean, if somebody pointed this at me and said, hey man, cut it out or I'm going to shoot you in the face with this and it's going to suck, I'd probably be like, that's cool, because I've had it on my face and in my nose and in my mouth and it does suck, right? A normal person, that might be enough to dissuade them. So are we thinking about things like this? And if so, are we staging them correctly? You know, most of us have something like this. I would much rather spray somebody than stab them. That said, there are tools for things, right? The joke at the beginning of the video, I need a hammer and nails and a utility knife and things like that to replace some shingles on my roof, right? A little flat bar. I need a bowl and a spoon and things like that to make that cake. Tools for certain tasks, right? The wherewithal to deploy the tools, the ability and skills to deploy the tools. How about the knowledge of when it's okay, right? Somebody yelling at you and standing in a place that they're allowed to be in doesn't mean that you should spray them, shoot them, punch them. Can you just walk away? And here's an issue that comes up a lot. Well, I have a right to be there too. That's cool. But if you're going to stay there and allow the fuel to get added until this thing turns into a freaking fireball and then people are striking, hitting, shooting, stabbing, spraying, whatever, is the consequences of that worth it? Maybe you were right. Maybe you were justified. But is the end result even anything remotely worth it to you? At the end of the day, as you're sitting in handcuffs, sitting in the police station, sitting in the hospital, maybe you didn't get in any trouble, but you're home now and you broke a finger, right? And you're a guitarist. Maybe you broke your arm. Is it worth it? I have a good buddy who's a police officer that just last night I learned while apprehending some dudes that committed an armed robbery, somebody in a vehicle, just unbeknownst to what was happening, not involved at all, ran him over and broke his tibia and fibia, ran him over at like 40 miles an hour, and this dude's a stud. Violence creates chaotic environments, and when we enter into that, it's not watching TV. Even a controlled environment like a wrestling match or a boxing match, stuff happens, right? People get poked in the eye. People get arms and limbs broken, even in a controlled environment. So when we create this illusion around us that I'm going to do some things because I'm right and I'm going to win, you have no concept of what a stranger is capable of or willing to do. Does that make sense? So retrace our steps. Do I have the ability to articulate what I want? Maybe that's just to myself. I'm in traffic. I'm in some type of verbal altercation with somebody. Can I articulate to myself, what do I want out of this? A good mental set point for that is Coach Lou Holtz. What's important now? I might not need to look at this person and say anything. In my head, what's important? I told my wife I'd be home for dinner at 4. It's 3. I'm going to get out of here. Or what's important now? I need to get to my car. This person is between me. It's dark. I don't know what else is going on out there. Maybe I'll retreat back into the building and ask a security guard to take me out there. I'm just giving you an example. If I can't in the moment articulate to myself what is the important next step of my life, minute by minute, second by second, how can I apply action to it, right? We do this in our jobs every day. If you're a firefighter, you're a paramedic, you're a nurse, you're a pool repairman, we all understand the next steps that we have to do, right? If I'm a paramedic and I'm administering an IV, I don't just stick a needle in, right? I get all the stuff out, I clean the site, I identify what I'm doing, I put gloves on before I do any of that, right? There's a sequence of events the way we do stuff. Can I articulate that mentally? And here's the challenge. As we start to get annoyed, irritated, angry, we often throw that out the window. Hell with that. This person made me mad. Now I got to feed that beast. I got to feed that beast. And then whatever happens, happens because it feels good to let that go. That's cool. That's cool. There's a lot of people that are sitting in the clink, sitting locked up because they fed that beast. So can I talk to myself in a meaningful way in the moment to decide what I need to do? Second part, can I audibly, hey man, I don't know where we're going here. I don't know what's happening. There's a misunderstanding. I'm really sorry if I offended you. Well, I would never apologize to somebody that was being a jerk. Okay, so what you're saying is being right to a stranger probably is more important than just going home without trouble. Who would do that? A child, not a man, a child. A little baby boy would do that, not a man. So if we can't be real with ourselves and say, you know what, that's bullshit. I shouldn't act that way. If you're a father, would you teach your kid to act that way? Or would you say, this isn't turn the other cheek and let somebody abuse you. If you need to use violence, use it and do it well and do it right and do it now. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stopping violence from happening. That's a good way to think about it. If my kid was here, or if a whole bunch of kids were here, how would I want them to see me act, right? Food for thought. If I need to use physical violence, do I have the capabilities? Do I have the stamina? Something that we've been challenging you with, try this every day. Start out with 25. 25 push-ups, 25 air squats, 25 jumping jacks. That's super easy. You don't even need to do them all at once. Do 5, do 5, do 5, do 5. Take a notebook or something, do it on your phone, on a Word doc or something, and just write down each exercise. You could add in things like bear crawls. You could add in things like some short wind sprints. You could add in some kettlebell swings, deadlifts, but let's just work on air squats, push-ups, and jumping jacks. Maybe get to 50 a day, get to 100 a day. Oh, that's crazy. You don't need to do them at once. Do 10 while you're brushing your teeth. Do 10 more while you're waiting for the coffee to brew. Do 10 while you're waiting for the stove to warm up. Do 10 while you're waiting for the program to load, right? You're just gonna keep knocking this stuff out. Through attrition, little by little, we're gonna make ourselves much more fit, capable, flexible. So physical fitness, fighting skills. Then we start to talk about other options besides the gun. Pepper spray. I would much rather have to explain to judge and jury, yeah, I tried to get away, I tried to defuse the situation, whatever the premise was, I decided to use pepper spray because I had no other option available besides putting my hands on them, and I definitely did not want to escalate it. This is what I chose to use to defuse and get myself away, right? If we're using this, we're getting away. We're getting away. Food for thought. Thought it was something that we could chat about today to just kind of get that mindset stuff right. Yesterday's silly story of the dude flicking me off reminded me of something I think about often, and I thought it would be valuable for us to chat about. Palm pepper spray, Palm, P-O-M. Something cool about this company, we do some work with Palm, P-O-M, is the parent company here is the people that make all the little bits and parts in all the other high-end pepper sprays. They've been doing it for years and years and years. They got the patents on all the little bits and parts inside of them. or did. I don't know if that's still the case, but cool company, made in the USA, CarryTrainer for a discount code at Palm. And when you order some of these, get the inner trainer. It looks just like this, but it's blue, it's saline, and you can try it and practice it. We'll do another video on why I've got this here. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. Food for thought for you today. Be well, don't be dickheads. You don't fix a roof with a gun, you don't bake a cake with a gun. There are specific tools for specific jobs, and it's up to you to employ, to use, to know how to use said tool for said job. Peace out. Well, hey there, are you one of those folks that's like, it's morning, I'm gonna need my coffee before I can talk to you? Well, if that's you, I want you to try this Ignis Lux coffee. We roast this ourselves, roasted with love, primo stuff, and I guarantee if you don't like it, I will ignore your phone call and tell you to lose my number, but keep buying it because it's amazing. And if you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. No, but seriously, the guarantee is you're gonna like it. Try it. Ignis Lux, Latin for firelight. It denotes that fire that burns in all of us. And my thought is, with everything that we do, let that fire blaze brightly, my friends, for as long as possible. Ciao.
Oh, hey.